Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which is called a bridge pop-up box card. I was inspired by a video by Iced Images. I made one of hers originally and decided to make the sizes smaller because I wanted these to be like chimneys with Father Christmas, one of them falling down there. I'm not sure you can see that very well, but at the front there Father Christmas is falling down. At the back it's his sleigh. Okay, so it's a little bit of a fun card. The first card I made was I actually followed Iced Images instructions and I made this. I used retired products apart from these, and she'd put the supports in there to put bits in, which I like, but I want to stick with making Christmas cards at the moment, so I made this bit smaller. So that's where my inspiration came from. The first one I made was this, and I made my boxes 1.5 inches square, which is what that one is, but then I decided I didn't like the look of that. Don't know how well you're going to see this. I thought that was just totally out of proportion with this. So then I had another go and I made my boxes. That's right, I thought it was inside out. So I did it this size. Now this size will be suitable for US and Canadian sizes, people who use the letter size cardstock, but all you need to do is make this 1/2 inch shorter. If you do that, this will fit into your envelopes as well. So the way this folds up, get rid of that one, is if you flatten that right over and then flatten that right over, that is a standard A6 card size. So that goes into our envelopes, and this envelope is a US size. So if you imagine this just 1/2 inch shorter, I mean it looks as if it will just about fit in there, but you don't want that, you want it shorter. So I would just recommend you do 1/2 inch less and adjust these heights as well. I will put the measurements in the box below, but apart from that everything else for you will be the same, and I will work out the metric measurements and they will all be in the box below. Measurements I'm going to give you now will be inches for A4 cardstock users. Okay, so first of all I will tell you the cardstock that you're going to be needing. Right, first of all I have a piece of real red cardstock, and this measures 8 inches by 5 3/4 inches. So for Americans I would say 8 inches by 5 1/4 inches, possibly even 5 1/2. Anyway, then you need 2 pieces of this, and this piece measures 6 inches by 2 inches. Okay, 2 pieces. Then you will need a piece of Whisper White, which measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. And then you need 2 pieces of Whisper White, sorry, Basic White, that measure 1 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. Now on mine I've used two different types of designer series paper. For the backing, for the trees, I have used, let's see, one these should fit on, that's right, I have used Peaceful Place, and I would just like to explain how I got my pieces. This is what the sheet looks like, and to get the most out of it I just cut my sheet in half, so it's at 6 inches, and then I took my 5 3/4 inches by, I can't remember whether I took off 1/4 inch at the top or 1/4 inch at the bottom. I think it was at the top, so that I had that nice big white band there, and that way I wasted hardly none at all. In fact, I think I got both pieces off of 1/6 inch strip, is that right? 5 3/8, 3 5, 4. Yes, that's right. And what I did was I cut my piece, which measured 3 5/8 plus 1, that's 2 1/4, so that's 5, 6 1/8, I think. No, that can't be, otherwise that wouldn't have got in. Anyway, whatever, I cut my piece, and then I cut my 1 1/8 first, then my 3 5/8, and then my 1 1/8, so that it follows. Now, if you're not bothered about that, then don't worry. But these sizes, for the middle piece, they're all 5 3/8 inches, and this one is by 3 5/8, and this is 1 1/8, and this is 1 1/8. Okay, so I've done those ahead of time. And then for the chimneys, you will need 4 pieces, and this is from Bloom Where You're Planted. 4 pieces which measure 2 inches by 2 inches, and then 2 pieces that measure 2 inches by 1.5 inches. Now, the reason I've only got one each of these is I've already put one of these together. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to work on these 2 pieces. And I've explained to you the reason why I've done quite a bit in advance this time is because today is the 3rd day of the Stampin' Up backstage event. Yeah, I'll use this, it's a bit quicker. And it starts at 7 PM this evening, so I haven't got quite so long to do my video. So I picked out the most important bits so that I could show you. And as I explained to you last week, scoring on a scoreboard is a lot quicker than keep lining your paper up on the trimmer. Normally I do it on my trimmer with you, but today time is of the essence. So on the red piece, with the landscape up at the top, you want to score at 1/2 inch. And 2 inches, and 6 inches, and then 7.5 inches. So you'll finish up with a 1/2 inch wide strip down both sides there. And then both of these pieces, you need to score at 1/2 inch, 2.5 inches, and 4 inches. Okay, again, that's on the landscape side. So that's all you need for your scoring. So we'll work on this piece first, and what you need to do is, that's going to be a mounting fold, the 1/2 inch piece, this end and that end, mounting. Okay, so that's that. Let's just give that a little bit of a score. But before we do the rest of the scoring, we need to measure up 2 inches from the bottom there, and just put a little pencil mark there. So I'll use my ruler, and 2 inches. I'm just making my pencil mark on the crease there on the score line, and I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom of your card. Now we can fold these 2 pieces in and score. We'll do these next. Okay, so you've got 2 of these. You can fold all of these and they all get folded in the same direction, which, if I was looking at the right side, it would be valley folds. Okay, now if we take this piece with our little 1/2 inch and our paper snips, what we need to do is just take a little corner off there and make it so that you come up to the score line there. Okay, and you do that on both sides, that one and that one. Okay, you need to do that on both pieces. I'll show you my piece. Okay, I've already put my paper on and I've done that on it. Now this one, a little bit more involved. What you need to do is, where you have your paper, your pencil mark there, if you start a little way down here and cut at an angle up as far as that pencil mark, and again on the other side cut it up to the pencil mark. Now the next bit, we need to cut off that strip down to our 2-inch pencil mark. Now you could do that with your scissors if you wanted to, but I'm going to use my trimmer. Okay, so I can see my pencil mark, how far down I've got to come. And if this is 5 3/4, that means I've got to come down to 3 3/4. I tend to cut mine a little bit short because I'm looking at this slanted angle, and I'd rather, ooh, my goodness, look at that. I'd rather cut it too short than rather than going over the edges. Now this way I'm going to do it up that way. If you want to do it from that end, it means you start your blade off down here somewhere and then cut from there. But I prefer to do it this way. I line that up ready to be cut. And I am doing this to try and cut off that score line. Cut from there. I can see that I can go up a little bit more. I'm not going to push my luck any more than that. Oh, look at that, that's nearly off. Let's just cut that bit. Yeah, there we go. So that's good. In fact, I got that folded the wrong way, haven't I? I told you right that it should be a valley fold, but then I folded it as a mountain fold. But there we go, that's what your piece should look like. Let me move that out of the way. Okay, so your card will be standing up like that. Now on these, oh, I didn't do on that one, did I? You need to be putting some tearing tape on this. I prefer to use tearing tape because you know that I am a big fan of Tombow, but if Tombow leaked on this one, especially the box, it could be very difficult to correct it. Now what have I done with my, oh, here they go. This is my supposed non-stick scissors. I'll do that in a minute, finish it off, tidy it up. And I'm just putting this pretty close to the score line. And then do the same on these. I will go for the moment to tidy the edges up. Right, so I did quite well on the bottom one there. Just put that on a bit of scrap paper I have by the side of me. And then cut that one off. So those are okay. Cut these bits off. Just make sure, if you're doing it the same way as me, make sure you don't cut any of the red bits off. crikey, when I was doing my first one, this was a real struggle. I think my scissors must have been very sticky anyway. I cleaned them before I started videoing, so maybe because they are really nice and clean, they're not giving me any grief. Okay, so next we're going to work on this piece. So you've got your white sticky bit there. If you turn this over, and you need to adhere one of the bigger bits on there. Now this does not work out precisely, because as you saw, I like my bridge to cover up, my chimney rather, I like it to cover up all of my squares. I don't do the edges on it like this. If you don't like it like this, by all means, you can do it like that. Or if you choose something different rather than a chimney here, you can work out your own. In fact, I'll put the measurements down there if you want to use a layer. What I'll put is measurements using brickwork designer series paper and non-brickwork designer series paper. Okay, so you can choose what you're using. Anyway, yes, as I say, that shows you how I want to go at the top. But because these are 2 by 2 and this is 2 by 2, this is a tad smaller because it's lost that little bit for the scored line. So what I do is, and I always pay attention to see whether I've got the tall bit or the shorter bit at the top. I tend to always go for the shorter bit at the top, because if that becomes a habit, then chances are I won't ever make that mistake. Well, that's the theory. So now I will be using Tombow. Now, because, as I say, this is going to be a tad bigger than we need, so what I do is when I line this up, okay, so I want the smaller bit up the top, I line this up to the score line there. Make sure I cover the red up from down the bottom here and the red up from there. Make sure that that's going to close, which it does, and then turn it over. Oh my goodness, looks like I cut this a little bit short. Normally I get quite a bit bigger bit than this. I hope I've left a big bit somewhere else, because you can hardly see this. Anyway, what I do is I just use my scissors, go along and just cut that little bit off. Crikey, showing you this little bit, really, I don't think that's very much help at all, is it? So fingers crossed. Okay, so that was on the inside. Now open it out again, and you're going to put the 2 by 2 there and the 2 by 1.5 on that one. So let's do this one first. Now these are a bit different because you've got 2 edges, okay? Both sides have got a scored line. So let's do the bigger one first. It's got a little glob of glue there. That's right, got a piece of kitchen roll there. Right, small at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up, the score line inside, not on the edge here. I'm not going to worry about this one. Now this one is important. So if I fold that over and have a look, now that's better. That is the kind of edge that I've been getting all the time. And that is a lot easier to cut off than just that little bit that I had before. So I just go along here, making sure I don't cut the red piece. Now I could say to you that this is 2 inches less a tad, but I think we all see a tad as something a bit different. Now when I cut this off, I normally finish up with bits that are raised up, so I always go over it with my bone folder. It's a little bit wonky on that bit there, probably because I'm so busy talking. Right, but that's okay, it won't show. Now this one here, again, hold on, that's No, yeah, this one. I did have it right, it's just that I closed it down the wrong way. Now again, this one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to line this up against this one. So they're both heading towards the first scored line after the tab. Not including the score line, that's part of the tab. Maybe I should say the second score line coming from that side. Now smallest bit at the top. Line this up to this one. Cover the red up, top and bottom. Make sure that that's okay. And you don't have anything coming over the top there, which you don't. Well, that one was a bit short, wasn't it? Never mind, that'll be fine. It'll be hardly noticeable. Now I'm going to fold this one back, and you can see I've got a bit there as well. Now that tad is a different size to this tad, so that's why I hesitate saying to you, tads vary so much. I'm just going to cut that one off. Okay, so now we're ready to put our card together. We just get rid of these. Oops, that's stuck. Never mind. So what do we need to do next? I think we'll put our layers onto here. Like these. As I say, I did line these two up. I think that was the one over there, wasn't it? Yes. Okay, so this is going to go in the centre. I haven't used any dimensionals to pop up my images because the card needs to be folded flat to get into an envelope, and I wouldn't like my card to get bent where it's resting on dimensionals, the lumpy bits like dimensionals. There we go. Isn't this paper gorgeous? I have to say, I did think about doing my sentiment in silver embossing, but then I thought this panel might look a bit boring because it would be silver all the way down, so I went for real red ink and layered it, and I think that's helped to make it look very balanced. Yep, that's good. And then this one. The images that I've used, the Santas, they have been fussy cut, and I know that's going to be an absolute no-no for some of you. But you could choose any of the animal ones that we have. Obviously you wouldn't want to do them on a chimney like the polar bears, there are dies for that one. Or the penguin, there's a punch for the penguin. Penguin? Is it penguin? Yes, it is a penguin. So there we go, that's our framework. Alright. So yes, you could use the penguins for it. And I'm sure there's lots of others that you can use as well. Right. Now that I've been very careful about putting the narrow bits on the top, I've actually got to turn that around and put it round that way. And it also means that I put the bit on the inside and it should be out here, I think. Or I should have put that bit on there. Oh right, okay. To do it correctly, you have one piece on the same side as a tab with the tear and tape on it. And on the other one, you've got the other two ends. Now I'm going to stick that one first to prove the point. And then I will sort out the other one. Okay, so we're going to glue it on like that. The way I like to do this is by using the lines on my grid paper so that I can keep this straight, because what I need is, as I adhere that on, I need to make sure this is straight as well. Otherwise, when I stand my card up, I'm going to find that this is floating mid-air. Okay, so let's get that down nicely. Can't see my paper piercer. It must be here somewhere. Right, can I do this? Oh, come on. Okay, that's it. Well done. Okay, so I'm now lined up with a dotted line. So I am going to line this up with the dotted line, and then I'm going to bring this right up to the score line. Right, and I'm still straight with the score line there. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to turn that over, give it a burnish, make sure it sticks really well. And then I am going to adhere this one, and the way I do that there we go, is it's got to adhere against this one here, so the fold there should marry up with the fold on this one. Oh no, I've put the glue on the wrong, put the thing on the wrong side, haven't I? Oh, you silly dummy. Right, what should we do? Can we put that back? Okay, that stops that being sticky. Let's put a piece on the other side. That one was right, look at that. Right, we need this. Okay, so there you go. If you put tear and tape on the wrong side, like I have just done, retrieve the piece of backing paper from it and put it back on it. What I will also do is I will get a piece of red real red cardstock, and what I will do is I will get myself a small piece, which should be that. In fact, I'll do it while you can see me. Right, that is the one I need. This one I don't need. So the one where I've done wrong, take that off. I'm going to put that back on, or at least put that on. Make sure it folds over, and then cut off these pieces. Okay, don't think that if you make that kind of mistake all is lost, because it isn't. Okay, so that's come up a bit longer. I don't know if you can see that, but it's coming off the edge there. But that doesn't matter because it's going to be adhered underneath. So don't throw these away until you've fixed the boxes on. Right, let's try that again. There we go. Right, let's try that again. Now you need to fold that one over and adhere this fold line along that fold line. And of course make sure that this is lining up with this. Okay, and put your foam folder in there to give it a good press down. And then you have your first chimney. Okay, let's see if we can rescue my second chimney. If that goes on there, then I need a piece for there, and my glue is, my tape is on the wrong side. Okay, so can I do it like that? And then, yes I can. So what I'm going to do, easiest way of doing it, is I'm going to put another piece of the brickwork on here. So let me get a piece here. I don't think I had any leftovers the right size, did I? In fact, it would have been too small. Right. Yes, because I need the 2x2 piece. Okay, let's put those away. Right, doing really well today, aren't I? Showing you how to fix two problems. Just hope these are the last two. So this piece is a 2x2. So I'm going to cut it that way. Chances are what else I will do is make two pieces and put this on the back of the other one so that it doesn't advertise that it was a mistake. Right, let's pop this one on. And let's bring this in. Funnily enough, I was tempted to actually decorate these side bits as well. But instead of that, I'm finishing up decorating the back of it. And the other thing I would do for writing the message, I would put a white piece on the back of the card. Right, now I'm lining that up again against the fold line, making sure that I'm covering up top and bottom of the red. Folding it over, make sure there's nothing coming over the edge. Then looking at this side, oh my goodness, that's lined up perfectly as well. I wonder why that is. It shouldn't. Oh well, we just accept it. I'm not ungrateful. I've removed that one off. I need my straight lines again. I'll line that up. There we go. And this is going to line up. Oops. I felt that move. I'm going to make my lines, line that up with that one. Push it back a bit. And that should be right. Up a bit, that's it. That's straight. Okay. Oh my goodness me. So I'm going to use that bit in there because I'm going to lose it, aren't I? Yes, I am. Do you know what I suggest? I suggest that you put designer series paper on all three, both sides, and then you've got it right. No mistakes. Let me do this one again. we've got the narrower one at the bottom. So again, I'm lining up on the, what do I call it? The scored line after the tab, not the one that's attached to the tab. Right, once that one's done, then fold that back. See if you've got any coming over, which I have, a small amount. When you do this, make sure you don't actually cut into the tab. Pop that onto there. Now that goes like that, so at least I got that bit right. Okay. Do I need that bit done on the inside? No, we didn't. But we did on the outside, but got the back rather. Well, that was nice and easy. So let's fold this one, holding this back, making sure that this lines up with this. And when you're happy, use your bone folder to give that a good press down. Okay, so that's your card with your chimneys on it. The only difference with mine is that one's got one on, that one hasn't, but I will do that. Okay, the fun bit is decorating this. And last night while I was watching, or at least, yeah, paying attention I was to the backstage presentation, I sat there fussy cutting all of these. Now I'm going to do this the other way round. That's all of that. This one, I'm going to make him be the one who's falling down the chimney this time. And this one is standing there thinking to himself, what on earth is going on? In fact, I could swap them round as well, couldn't I? No, that's right. He can be going down the chimney, but on this side. He can be going down the chimney this side. And you can have that as well. Oh, I've got some mess on now. I'm not sure what that is. Hopefully it's just glue. Yes, it is. Oh, that's good. Right, so what I did to get him going down was I wanted him to look as if he'd got caught at the fattest part. Well, he's not going in quite so easily, is he? And you just remember that it's got, the card is going to be closing. Make sure it will close. If you make sure it closes both ways, then you're not going to get into trouble. You're not going to make a mistake. Now, so that's where I want it to go, which is just above his thumb there. So I'm going to put some glue. On like that. Oh, it's not my day today. It really is not my day today. I should have put the glue on his face, shouldn't I? Oh well. Here's one I made earlier. Let's turn it over. Do it on the right side this time. Seems a shame, doesn't it? I don't remember putting glue on the face of the other one. But I must have done. Okay. So there we go. As I say, just make sure it closes and closes that way. Okay, so that's good. So I'm also going to put his sleigh on here. Now what I did with his sleigh was it fits in that gap perfectly, but it was too perfectly, which would have stopped it from actually closing properly. So I just cut off a tiny little bit. Just on the bottom two, because the next two are a bit shorter anyway. Yes, just checking. I'll put the glue on the back of this one. And once it's on there, try not to move it, because otherwise you're going to have exposed glue, which will make the card stick together when you fold it to put it in an envelope. Okay, so there we go. That's that. And then it's you standing there wondering what on earth is going on. That's right, to put on the back of it. And also, when I'm doing things like this, and the back is going to be exposed, like that is, I don't use our stamping blends if I have to fussy cut the images, because it bleeds through there. If there were dies to this, then I wouldn't mind, because then I can die cut a plain white one to adhere on the back to hide the where the blends have been bleeding. Okay. That's for you. That's for you, that's good. If you fold down, you're not going to hurt that one, are you? Okay, so that just leaves the sentiment now. Now this is the one I'd used before, which I think fits in really nicely. But I've also got one of these. I wasn't sure which to use. I quite like that. But do I like it as much as the other one? Let me have a look. It's not very easy to see them both at the same time, is it? I know, let's fold that down, fold that down. There we go. I think I might just do the long one to be, so it's something different. Yes, I'll use this one. I don't know which one I like best. But the Merry Christmas, let me tell you the stamp sets these came from. That's the Merry Christmas, and it came from For Unto Us stamp set. And the Merry Christmas has come from the Poinsettia Petals. Interestingly enough, both of those stamp sets were last year's stamp sets, both of which have been brought forward. So I'm just going to pop this on with Tombow. As I say, I'm not using any dimensionals here. The only thing I do think that's missing, and I might add it on later, and that is, I do wonder if maybe this could do with maybe a sprig of holly or something. I wouldn't use gemstones because obviously this is going to fold flat on it. But I don't know, I can't think of any stamp sets that I have at the moment that have got a small holly with berries, because the berries would go in really nicely with the real red. So there we go, I think that looks straight. So there we go, that's today's project. And 2 bonus mistakes for you. As I say, I've probably totally confused you, so what I really recommend that you do is just put the wallpaper on, the brickwork rather, on all 3 sides. So, unless of course you can work out my... Oh, no, don't do that. I just gathered that Father Christmas up that's got the glue on it. Let's move that up there out of the way. So there we go. I hope you like this project and I hope you give it a try. Sorry for the confusion. I will put in the box below all the measurements for A4 cardstock users in inches and metric, and I will do the measurements for the letter size as well, North America, and it will only, the only changes will be these ones here. Okay, that's all I'm going to be changing. Everything else will be the same. Okay, so that's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's project, and I look forward to being with you next time. If you've enjoyed my video, by the way, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the button there in the bottom right hand corner, and then click the bell so you get notifications when, I think I ought to go to bed, it was too much of a late night last night. You'll get the notifications if you press the bell next to the subscribe button each time I upload a new video. So many thanks for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, please take care, stay safe, happy crafting. Cheerio.